Welcome to another Dell Corporation Quality Management System training presentation. 8.1 Operational Planning and Control. QMSP 8.1-001 Operational Planning and Control is maintained to establish a process and make provision for the organization to plan and carry out production and servicing activities under controlled conditions. The organization shall ensure that production and servicing activities are planned and carried out under controlled conditions. Production and servicing controls include, but may not be limited to the following: activities associated with determining requirements for products and services is accomplished and outlined in the organization's Quality Management System document QMSP 8.2-001 Requirements for Products and Services. Additionally, requirements for products and services are maintained for each project in the organization's project management system and/or the electronic job files. Production and servicing information used to communicate customer requirements throughout the organization is obtained during the kickoff initial project meeting for each project. Pertinent project details are then communicated to relevant personnel by departmental leadership. Additionally, product and service requirements are documented and updated as needed in organization's project management system. Production meetings are used to report on the status of projects and to develop action plans towards project completion. Product status is also identified in each project in the project management software. Action items as a result of production meetings are communicated to respective department personnel by departmental leadership or designated representative and maintained as record in the project management software and meeting minutes. Action items identified in previous production meetings are addressed in production meetings. Additional tasks may be added to each project as necessary to support the product realization process. The primary method of communicating product requirements to production and servicing personnel is with approved drawings. Additional documented controls, as identified in project kickoff meetings, production meetings, and/or project management systems, shall be made available as required. Supporting project documentation, which provides detail about product characteristics, shall be made available to relevant personnel at points of use and in the product management software, as appropriate, throughout the product realization process. Each project for newly manufactured equipment is maintained and managed through the project management system. Each project will have a set of tasks that represent the major product realization and support steps associated with the type of equipment to be manufactured. The steps include but may not be limited to the following: kickoff meeting, verification testing, purchase order, contract acceptance, protective coating application, design drawings, assembly, purchasing, validation testing, material processing, photo documentation, fabrication, post-fabrication inspection, and project closeout review. Subsequent tasks identified during production planning meetings as necessary for product realization shall be entered into the project management system as product realization subtasks, tasks most closely associated with the product realization tasks listed above. Completion of planned arrangements is accomplished in the project management system by individual user verification of task completion. Acceptance of products and services is accomplished in accordance with the following planned arrangements: verification that purchased product meets the requirements stated by the organization. Processes that require validation such as welding shall be accomplished by qualified welders, AWS, ASME, to approved procedures, using calibrated verified welding machines. Processes that require validation such as protective coating application are accomplished to manufacturer's recommendation and verified by millage test. Processes that require validation such as non-destructive testing, NDT, are accomplished by qualified ASNT Level 2 technicians with an ASNT Level 3 endorsement. Technician credentials are to be verified prior to performance of NDT services. Heat treatment of fabricated products is an outsourced process not accomplished by the organization and must be verified prior to acceptance by the organization. Verification testing of products in process and validation testing of products, final acceptance testing. The organization continually evaluates the resources currently maintained by the organization to ensure they are adequate for achieving conformance to the products and service requirements and/or to determine the need for additional resources to ensure conformance. The organization uses the following as a fora to address resource requirements: purchase order or contract acceptance meetings, kickoff meetings, production meetings, results from NCR, CAR, PAR, and annual management review. Where monitoring, measurement, and testing to ensure valid results is a requirement, devices will be made available, controlled, and verified as applicable prior to use. Devices shall be calibrated and verified to NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Process controls used by the organization are documented and used as deemed appropriate to the type and extent of control required. Control features include requirements for verifying compliance with quality plans and conformance to product standards. Process control documents may include, but may not be limited to, the following: work instructions, task assignments, project management software, quality forms, quality procedures, quality matrices, purchase orders issued by the organization. Product realization capability documentation includes documents that demonstrates the capability of the organization to satisfy specified product and/or servicing requirements. Such documents include, or reference as appropriate, the following: product realization plans, project management. Records including criteria for product acceptance for the following: review of verification, validation, monitoring, measurement, inspection, and test activities. Dell Corporation shall validate and revalidate processes for products for production and service provision, product realization, where the resulting output cannot be verified by in-process monitoring or measurement. This includes processes where deficiencies will become apparent only after the product is in use. Validation will demonstrate the organization's ability to achieve planned results. The same controls used for validating the respective services are used for revalidating. Dell Corporation will establish validation for these processes on an individual basis to include the following, as it applies to the product or assembly being provided. Records to support evidence of conformance shall be maintained. 4.5. The organization validates the following processes required to achieve planned results. The organization shall use approved welding procedures for any welding of Dell Corporation products in accordance with AWSD 1.1 and ASME Section 9, Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code. Approved welding procedures are maintained in the Document Control Module of the Electronic Quality Management System. Welders, prior to performing welding activities for the organization, shall be qualified to approved procedures. Records of welder qualification shall be maintained as record. Welders shall remain qualified to approved procedures by welding to specific procedures, at a minimum, every 6 months. Records shall be maintained to demonstrate welder conformance to the revalidation requirement. Welding equipment, machines, calibration status shall be verified prior to use. All welding activities for the organization shall be accomplished using calibrated welding machines. All welding consumables shall conform to American Welding Society standards. All welding consumables are to be examined before use for bends, cracks in the flux, wetness, or any other abnormalities that may negatively affect the final weld. Standard 60x welding rods, all standard series electrodes are to be stored in a manner to prevent deterioration or contamination. All rods shall be kept in a closed container, original container or closed storage container, at ambient temperatures above 450 Fahrenheit until needed. At no time should rods be exposed to excessive moisture. Rods that become wet, bent, or otherwise compromised are to be discarded. Low hydrogen 70x welding rods of the low hydrogen type shall be stored in an oven at a temperature range of 275 to 325 Fahrenheit. Rods removed from the oven must be returned to the oven within 4 hours or used within 8 hours. Any rods not returned to the oven within 4 hours or used within the 8th-hour time period are to be discarded. At no time shall rods be exposed to excessive moisture. Any rods that become wet, bent, or otherwise compromised are to be discarded. Wire spools, all wire spools are to be stored in a manner to prevent excessive dust, dirt, debris, and moisture from collecting on the wire. New wire spool products should be stored in original, unopened packaging until ready for use. When replacing wire, place the unused portion in a climate-controlled container, room, oven, or secure container to prevent excessive dust, dirt, debris, and moisture from collecting on and compromising the wire. Where the organization outsources welding and fabrication activities, the following controls are put into place to ensure quality and product requirements are met. Approved vendors list and evaluation shall be accomplished and records maintained, and a vendor placed on the approved vendors list before any welding and fabrication vendors performing any work for the organization. The organization shall ensure that vendors maintain approved welding procedures, qualified welding personnel, and calibration of associated fabrication equipment. Records of qualification review shall be maintained, and post-fabrication inspections shall be accomplished before any outsourced fabricated product is accepted by the organization. Revalidation, welder qualification for outsourced fabrication services shall be evaluated at least annually as part of the internal audit. Fabrication providers shall be evaluated annually at a minimum to ensure welder qualification, adequate consumable storage, and welding machine calibration. Fabricated product shall be inspected for quality and conformance to requirements prior to acceptance by the organization. Non-destructive testing is an outsourced process. The organization shall verify personnel performing NDT, NDE activities are qualified, a minimum ASNT Level 2 endorsed by a Level 3 prior to any work being performed. An evaluation shall be accomplished and records maintained, and a vendor placed on the active vendors list before NDT, NDE vendors perform any work for the organization. Revalidation, the organization shall verify personnel performing NDT, NDE activities are qualified, a minimum ASNT Level 2 endorsed by a Level 3 prior to any service being rendered. Qualifications are verified prior to services being rendered. Protective coatings applied by the organization shall be accomplished in accordance with manufacturer recommendations and/or customer-provided specifications. Protective coating application shall be verified, mill thickness, before release for further product realization activities. Protective coating application, outsourced, shall be verified prior to the organization's acceptance of product through mill test inspection. Revalidation, protective coating application shall be verified prior to the organization's acceptance of product through mill test inspection. Records of inspection shall be maintained with product documentation. Lift stress testing, to include drop testing, as required, is an outsourced process. An evaluation shall be accomplished and records maintained, and a vendor placed on the active vendors list before lift stress testing vendors perform any work for the organization. Lift stress testing shall be accomplished in accordance with customer-defined requirements and/or industry standards where specified. Revalidation, load cell calibration records shall be verified prior to stress testing activities. Personnel qualification shall also be confirmed if NDT or NDE services are accomplished by lift and stress testing providers. If you have any questions about this or any other quality management system document, please contact Danny at deltank.com, call or text to 337-224-2873, or stop by for a conversation. And remember, it's always a good day at Dell. Go Bills!